Welcome everyone, I'm Jordan Sharp. As we are almost done with week number 13, it's time to take an opening look at the week number 14 NFL odds. Some good games shaping up this week and a couple of teams that are coming off short weeks that are going to have a little bit of extended rest as well. We'll start it off with two teams who did play on Thanksgiving Day but are playing on Thursday once again this week, so don't have a short week to take care of, and that's the Cowboys heading into Chicago to play the Bears this week. The Bears are 3.5-point underdogs, total of 50.5. Both were obviously dominated on Thanksgiving Day. It'll be very interesting to see which one of them bounces back this week in a game that really both of them could use, especially Chicago, who's basically out of the playoff hunt right now, and really has a very, very small window to try to get back in it. So that should be a very interesting game as well. The next one I have for you, also a 3.5-point underdog. Here we'll start off on Sunday between the Indianapolis Colts and the Cleveland Browns. Now, this one's interesting only because Johnny Manziel saw some of his first regular season action last week after they pulled Brian Hoyer after a pretty horrendous game of 2 interceptions, and he will likely get the start, I think, this week against the Indianapolis Colts. It likely gives the Browns a lot more upside with Manziel potentially starting. Now, nothing locked in yet, but that could be a very, very interesting line to note as we head later in the week if we get confirmation that Manziel is indeed going to get the starts against the Indianapolis Colts. Next one I have for you is an AFC North showdown between two teams really battling for this division right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been kind of in a slump recently, lost again this week, heading into Cincinnati to play the Bengals, who are 3.5-point favorites in the NFL odds, total of 47 points. And the Bengals probably should have lost this past week against Tampa Bay. Played a pretty horrible game. Andy Dalton was just absolutely horrendous, and they still ended up getting the win, which is really surprising because in games that he has thrown, 2 or 3 interceptions, that normally does not happen. So I think this is a very interesting one to watch as well, because if the Steelers can get their stuff together, they could actually be a pretty good bet here, but who knows, with what their defense and the Bengals defense has really done this season. Next one I have for you is another game that a couple of teams with some longer rest after playing on Thursday. The Seattle Seahawks heading into Philadelphia to play the Eagles this week. This line actually a little bit spread out across the sports books right now. Anywhere from a pick'em to -2 in favor of the Eagles, which I think is a little bit surprising here. Total of 48.5, of course, both with huge wins on Thanksgiving, and probably going to be a pretty big game this week. So make sure you watch these odds. I think this could probably settle on the higher side of these odds as well from where they are right now. Next one I have for you is the New England Patriots heading into San Diego to play the Chargers this week, another big game. And the Chargers are another home underdog this week, a +3.5, total of 50.5. And San Diego had a huge comeback victory against Baltimore this past week. It really put them back in the hunt, I think, for a playoff spot in the AFC after struggling, I think, several weeks in a row, while the Patriots obviously had a loss against Green Bay this past week in Green Bay. Going to want to look to get back on track this week as 3.5-point road favorites going all the way across country, though. So another NFL odds that could be very interesting to watch throughout the week. And finally, on Monday evening, the Atlanta Falcons are heading into Green Bay to play the Packers this week. And the Falcons came up with a huge win this past week to keep pace in the NFC South with the New Orleans Saints. And they're heading into Green Bay as an 11.5-point underdog against the Packers, who obviously won against the Patriots this past week. Highest total of the week at 56 points. Going to be a really good game as well. Lots of good games this week, 14 slate. Make sure you check out some of our NFL odds updates later in the week where we check out where these odds have moved. But until then, I'm Jordan Sharp, and this has been another edition of the Sharp Pick.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.